members of SSD for their involvement in Oregon Library Association. Your division brings depth to the activities of the organization, an important perspective at the board meetings, and you are an amazingly energetic and active division of the organization, and the organization is so much stronger because of your work. So how about this for you guys? All right, so onward. I would like to introduce Anne-Louise, who is our keynote speaker. She's a speaker, a singer, a storyteller. She travels and performs all over the world. She teaches storytelling. Her husband reports that what with the storytelling, it's always pretty interesting. She is an award-winning recordist artist, and she has an abiding belief that there's enough joy for everyone. Welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. Conventional wisdom on the speaking circuit says you should never start your presentation by saying good morning. But I'm going to throw that to the winds and I'm going to say good morning. Nice to see you guys. Research also tells us that singing raises your endorphin levels and makes you feel good, which is why people love to sing. And my own anecdotal research says that singing in large groups raises your endorphin levels even more. So we're going to sing in a large group, because here we are. You're going to get the words in a minute, and you can just follow right along. And remember, everybody can sing. This is not about singing, this is about singing. We can all sing together. On the day these people were born. On the day these people were born. On the day these people were born. The angels sang, and they blew on their horns, and they danced. Get ready to smile. They smiled and raised up their hands on the day these people were born. That'd be you guys. Now you can raise your hands up if you want, because that's also using your tricep muscles, and that burns calories, and everything, every movement you do that burns calories is a good thing, okay? And when you smile, your smile muscles are connected to your neural networks in your brain, and that also raises your endorphin levels. And it raises the endorphin level of everybody around you. So we're just going to be like wild on endorphins. Okay, here we go. Let's sing about the girls. On the day these girls were born. That's you girls. On the day these girls were born. On the day these girls were born. The angels sang and they blew on their horn. And they danced. You can do it in your seat. They danced, or you can stand up. They smiled and raised up their hands on the day. Yeah! On the day these girls were born. I know it's early, but we can do it. Now, if you don't know the words yet, just sing La La, because La La is just as good as the word, you know, it doesn't matter. Now we'll sing about the 4 boys that are here. How many? All right, raise your hand, men. How many men? We got one in the corner. We got one here, that's my husband. We got one there. One there. Oh my gosh, 6, maybe 6 guys. Okay, guys. We'll sing on the days the guys were born. And we'll see if the guys can stand up and dance. I don't know, it's usually harder for the guys. On the day the guys were born. Yes, sing, ladies. On the day these guys were born. On the day these guys were born. The angels sang and they blew on their horns. And they danced. Yes, they did. They danced. They even smiled for the guys. They smiled and raised up their hands on the day. On the day these guys were born. It's getting better. It's getting better. You know, if you raise your hands up like this, it's like we're at a rock concert, which we probably don't get to go to very often. Recall from your younger days at rock concerts. Okay, here we go. If we had lighters, we could do that too. Okay, here we go. Okay, who should we sing about now? Somebody tell me who we should sing about. Babies. Okay, here we go. On the day the babies were born, our babies. On the day our babies were born. On the day our babies were born, you're getting it. The angels sang and they blew on their horns and they danced. They danced. Here comes a smile. They smiled and raised up their hands on the day. Woo! On the day our babies were born. We're almost all there. Okay, who else should we sing about? Shout it out with abandon. Our pets? Our pets. Here we go. On the day our pets were born. La la, here we go. On the day our pets were else should we sing about? Somebody else shout it out.
Support staffers.
Support staffers. I'll just get my little singing back in. Support staffers. Okay, we can get it. On the day the support staffers were born. Now sing out. On the day the support staffers were born. You got it. On the day the support staffers were born, the angels sang and they blew on their horns and they danced. They danced, yes they did. They smiled and raised up their hands on the day support staffers were born. Why don't we sing about the whole world? Here we go. On the day the whole world was born, a little bit louder. On the day the whole world was born, even louder. On the day the whole world was born, the angels sang and they blew on their horns and they danced. They danced, we're smiling. They smiled and raised up their hands on the day the whole world was born. Ooh, yay for you guys. Give yourself a clap. Woohoo! Burning more calories by clapping. That song, I would love to tell you that I wrote that song. Wouldn't that be just brilliant? But I didn't, darn it. That was written by a lady called Kathy Fink. So if you ever get a chance to get one of her recordings, go ahead and do so. A few weeks ago, well actually a few months ago, I was driving down the Oregon coast in this very town. I stopped at the Fred Meyer's to go to the bathroom. I figured there'd be a nice clean bathroom there. So I walked in to the bathroom and I went straight to the handicap stall because only one other stall was taken, and I like to have a lot of room, you know, when I go to the bathroom. I don't like those narrow little stalls, so I always do that. I figured if there's nobody else in there, I'm safe. The handicapped people are not going to be upset with me. So as I'm opening the door, I hear this little voice say, "Hi." Thinking, okay, it's coming from that other stall. And you know, I'm from New Jersey, really, and in New Jersey, you would not talk to strangers in the bed. Let me just tell you. You would not be doing that. But I'm trying to be friendly like Oregonians are. So I say, "Hi." And I go into my stall, and I close the door, and I settle myself down with all my things. And then I hear the toilet flush in that stall. And the door slams, and the water goes on, and the little voice says, "Hey, where are you?" Well, I'm thinking the little girl must be talking to her mother, so I'm not going to answer because you don't want to get too involved, you know what I mean? Saying hi is okay, but you don't really want to get in a conversation in the bathroom with a stranger. So I don't say anything. And then the voice again says, "Hey, where are you?" So I don't know what to do, so I answer, "I'm here." I kid you not, 2 seconds later, this little boy slides under the door of my stall on his back. He's this little blonde boy, and he looks up at me, he goes, "Hey, I have on Diego underwear today." And I said to him, what do I say? I said, "That's nice." And I was trying to think, and he had this big smile on his face, and I was trying to think of where the conversation was going to go after that. And I could see him looking at my very plain underwear that was down around my ankles. But before I had to worry about that too much longer, I heard the outside door open, and his mother called out, "Timmy, where are you?" And I was saved by the bell. And Timmy says to me, "Bye," and he slides out and he runs away. It was the most amazing thing. And I could not stop smiling. And I thought, oh my gosh, here's this little child, and he's so happy because he has Diego underwear on today. And that's enough to make him happy. And I was thinking as a grown-up, like, how often am I happy about those little tiny things? How often do I find joy in those little tiny things? So I was thinking I would go right out to Fred Meyer's and buy a pair of Diego underwear. And in case you don't know, Diego is part of Dora the Explorer. Actually, I've never even seen it. It's a TV show, and I don't know what he is, but anyway, he's part of that show. So I went out and marched into the store to see if I could find some really fun underwear. And coming toward me was Timmy and his mother now, and his mother's got a baby in the cart. And I'm getting ready to smile at Timmy, but I could see as we walked past, he did not even recognize me without my knickers around my ankles. That opportunity passed. But it did help me remember, like I was happy the whole day, you have to ask my husband. I was like beaming the whole day long, that just trying to think about all the little tiny things that could bring us joy that we forget to look at. Because there's a saying in the Talmud, the Jewish tradition, that I read once that just like pierced me in the heart, because it said, "You shall not be judged for the sins you have committed, but for the joys you have refused to accept." And when I read that, honestly, that must have been about 6 years ago. I mean, that was really like a knife in my heart. I was thinking, how many days, how many minutes do I refuse to accept the the joy that's here for me. I'm just going to tell you a lot of them. Ask Bob, he'll tell you. In fact, the other day when I was really cranky and I was really cranky and I was sort of cranky and he said to me, Anne-Louise, I don't think you're accepting the joy that's here for you. I wanted to just smack him. But actually it did help me feel better. Because, you know, I come from a long line of Italian martyrs. I don't know if you know this, but Italians often have that martyr quality, you know. Don't worry about me, I'll do it. I can take care of myself. I'll cook dinner for 1,000, it doesn't matter. I can do it. That's kind of the way my family was. That's how we were raised. And not only to be martyrs, but to be victims as well. It's always somebody else's fault, you know what I mean? I don't know if you ever have that. Maybe you guys don't, but we had that big time. It was always their fault, or them, it was always them. And if they were not up to standards, for instance, if they did not make their own gravy, which is spaghetti gravy in our language, not brown gravy for meat, not white gravy for biscuits, which I never even heard of till I came to Oregon, let alone tasted, and now I know it can give you a heart attack in 1 minute. But red gravy, and in my family, if you didn't make your own gravy, they spit on you because you had no respect. And what is life without respect? So, you know, there was a lot of levels of being a victim, being a martyr, all that kind of stuff. And we had a hard time changing our story to look at the world in a different way. Good thing I moved to Oregon, perhaps. I've only been here 14 years and I'm still working on it. Story. There was a man, a young man, probably as young as that guy over there in the corner, that one young guy. Wait, there he is, yes, and he probably had a t-shirt just like that, yeah. And this young guy, he lived on the top of a hillside in a house that was really quite nice. And he actually had everything he needed, but I think he must have been Italian because he complained all the time. And he kept saying, where's my joy? Where's my luck? Why don't I have any joy? Why don't I have any luck? And he didn't have a wife to smack him about the head and say, you're not finding your joy today. So when he was in town one day complaining, someone said, well, you should go see the wise old woman at the edge of town. And maybe she can help you. I love that it was a wise old woman, don't you? So that young man went to find the wise old woman at the edge of town, and she said, well, you just need to go find God. Ask God the question. The young man said, how would I do that? Well, you have to walk to the edge of the world. Well, that guy, he took on the challenge. So he walked a day, he walked a week, he walked a month, he walked a year and a day. And finally, he came to a place where the road forked. And on one side was this pack of really beautiful wolves. They were snarling and playing, and they were very plump, and they had beautiful glossy fur. And on the other side of the fork of the road, there was this one scrawny wolf. His ribs were showing, his hair was kind of falling out. And when he saw the young man, he asked him where he was going. Well, I'm going to find God so I can find my luck and my joy. And the wolf said, well, when you get to God, would you ask him why I'm so scrawny and all my friends over there are so fat and healthy? And why I feel so bad and they don't? The young man said, sure. And he kept walking. And he walked a day, a week, a month, a year and a day, till he came to the place where the road forked again. And on one side was a beautiful stand of trees, covered in leaves, kind of like these beautiful trees out here. And on the other side, there was one scrawny tree with its leaves drooping over the few leaves that it had. And when it saw the young man, it said, where are you going? Well, I'm going to find God so I can find my luck, my joy. He's going to tell me how, or she's going to tell me how, or it's going to tell me how, or whatever. And the tree said, well, when you find God, would you ask God why I don't have any leaves and why I'm not growing and the other trees are? And the young man said, sure. And he walked a day, a week, a month, a year and a day. And then he came to the little house with the red door and the picket fence. And he went up to the door and knocked. He was a bit hungry by now. And it was opened by a beautiful young woman with long dark hair this time and brown eyes instead of the proverbial blonde hair. Sorry, everybody's blonde, but we have to say something for the dark-haired girls. And she asked him where he was going. He told her the story. And she said, well, would you like to come in and have some dinner? You can stay overnight here first. And he accepted, and so he stayed overnight and had a lovely meal, left the next morning. And he walked a day, a week, a month, a year and a day, and then he got to the edge of the world. And as he stood there, there was an enormous cloud in front of him. And he stood there and he was about to say, and in his head he heard, you don't have to ask, I'm God. And then the answer came. You just have to look. Your joy, your luck is all around you. He said, oh, thanks. I have 3 more questions. You don't have to say, I'm God. And in his head came the answer to the questions. So he started walking back. And when he got to the young woman's house, he knocked on the door, and she was so happy to see him. Did you find God? Yeah, I did. Did he tell you what I should do? Yeah, he said that you are lonely and you need to find the first handsome guy that comes by to marry. And she said, will you marry me? And he said, no, I gotta find my luck. God said I have to look, it's everywhere around me, I gotta keep going. But I'll send the first woodsman that I see back to your house. And she said, well, all right then. And he kept walking. A year and a day, got to the place where the trees were, and there was that one tree. And the tree said, wow, I'm really happy to see you. I never thought I'd see you again. Did you find God? Yeah. What did he say about me? Well, he said, the reason, or she said, or it said, the reason that you're not growing is because there's treasure buried at the roots of you. And that treasure chest is keeping you from getting the nourishment through your roots. So you need to find a woodsman to dig up the treasure chest, and then you're going to grow like your other trees. And the tree said, that's fabulous. Would you do that for me? No, I gotta find my luck, I gotta find my joy, I gotta keep looking. I'll send the next woodsman to you. The young man kept going. A week, a month, a year and a day, got to the place where the wolves were. And that one wolf, by now, he was practically dead. He was so skinny. And he said to the young man, did you find God? I did. Did God tell you what to do? Yes. He said that the reason that you are not prospering is because you do not eat enough. And he said that you should eat the first foolish creature that comes by. And so the wolf did. And that's the end of that. Thank you. That is a story called The Edge of the World, and it's told in many, many, many traditions. I think it's really an Italian story, though, because about what, because the guy just couldn't get into his head what he was supposed to do, and he loved to complain. I think that's really about our family. He loved to complain instead of laughing, instead of finding the joy. Now, laughing, here's something I just found out. You're going to be amazed about this. If you laugh 200 times, it's as good as being on a rowing machine for 10 minutes. Now, this research was done in Stanford University, so I think it's going to be good research. So all you have to do is laugh all day long. You're going to lose as many calories as if you had been on a rowing machine. And don't you think that's a good idea? I think it's a fabulous idea. And here's the other thing about laughter. Laughter reduces your blood pressure. It raises your endorphin levels. It makes you healthier. It helps you lose weight. It does everything in the world you think that you want in your life, laughter does. And there are these people that have laughing clubs. Have you guys heard of these laughing clubs? Okay, this was started by a guy in India, a doctor in India. And he went outside one day and he started just laughing all by himself, just in the middle of the courtyard. And soon, like I think they say, within 2 weeks, he had 50 people laughing with him. And then he started doing all this research about laughter, and he found out that it really is beneficial. So they started these laughing clubs. They have a lot of them in California. Anybody here from California? I'm not sure if they have any in New Jersey. Perhaps they need some in New Jersey. But people get together like once a week, and they just laugh. And there's doctors doing this for treatment now, like for therapy. They just laugh. And it's supposed to make everybody feel absolutely wonderful. So I was thinking, oh, here's something that they do in these laughter clubs. They lie down on the floor in a big circle, but fortunately, I'm not going to make you do that today because we don't have enough room. Somebody lies on their back, and the next person puts their head on the person's tummy, and then they sort of make like that whole thing like they used to do with the gum wrappers. It makes a kind of a thing like that, and they make an enormous circle, and then the first person starts laughing, and the laugh travels all through the people to the back again. And apparently, at the last conference I did, someone had done it. Apparently, once it starts, you cannot stop laughing. Has anybody ever experienced this before? You've done it? Would you like to speak? The young man, no less, who listened to God. Would you feel like saying what it felt like, or anything about it?
It's hysterical because people's stomachs start bouncing up and down, and they start bouncing up and down with them, and you can't stop laughing. You actually play a game where you just like go ha ha, and you try to see if you can get all the way around the chain without busting out into spontaneous laughter.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys hear him over there? No. Okay, he said it's really amazing because when the person whose tummy your head is on is laughing, you can actually feel their body moving, and it makes it even funnier. And he said they play a game where they start out just saying ha ha, and they see if they can get it all the way around the circle with only ha ha's. But what happens is that people just burst out into hysterical laughter. So I'm going to advocate that you guys try this in your small group breakout session and see what happens. so I have to do it one day. One day we're going to be in a big enough room where I can get everybody to lie down. Okay, but since we can't do that, here's what we're going to try. We're just going to try laughing. Okay, and I'm going to start out laughing, and then I want you to just laugh. Okay, just see what happens. Okay, just it's very contagious. I'm going to go around and help lots of the tables laugh if they need help. Okay, so ready to start. Okay, so just, and you don't even have to think of anything funny. And here's the thing: the research shows that it doesn't matter whether you're laughing at a joke or whether you're just laughing. Your body has the same response, and it's just as beneficial. So you don't have to be laughing at something funny. You can just be laughing. Okay, you ready? You don't look so serious. I promise you, it's not painful. Come on, girls. Laugh, come on. Oh, she can't do it. Come on, laugh, 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 laugh. Oh, we're just gonna laugh. This table needs a laugh over here. I can't do it. Come on, you guys. Not that side of the room. You're gonna laughing at all. This side's having a hard time. Let's see if this side can laugh more. Ready? Keep going. How are we doing over here? Not bad. This table, oh my God. This table here. Oh my God. They're having a really hard time to keep the table over here. I think we need to practice. Very good. Not bad, not bad. We need some more practice. Oh my gosh, I think we're going to have to do that some more during the whole day. Something else that I learned is that when you laugh, when things are really bad, I know this from personal experience. In fact, all the things I'm telling you, I'm continually learning myself again and again and again and again. When things are really bad, sometimes the only thing you can do is laugh. That's the only thing you can do. And so try it sometime. I mean, you just have to find the funny places. My dad died of Alzheimer's 2 years ago, and I have to tell you, at his funeral, I have 3 sisters and a brother, and we have 15 kids among us, and we laughed so much at that funeral because we were so sad. Sometimes you just have to do it. So try doing that laughing and see what happens, even if you're having a bad day. In fact, if you're having a bad day, you must laugh. You must go into the library and you must smile at everybody you meet and play the smile game. Get them all laughing. The smile game goes like this. You smile at somebody who's looking kind of sad, or whatever, they're not smiling. I do this when I travel. And you keep nodding your head till they smile with you. Okay? Works. I'm telling you, it works every time. And it makes people feel better, okay? Because when you smile, remember I told you it's connected to your neural networks and it makes you raise an endorphin level. So do that. Sometimes, you know, I actually really like to think that everything's really about me. So I find out that it's not about me. But sometimes like you go to a place and somebody won't be smiling, and I'll think because I'm me and I'm Italian, oh, they probably don't like me. Or I'll think, oh, they're probably, because it's them, oh, they're probably not a very nice person. Then I'll find out later that they just don't smile in the morning, like my husband, 33 years. I've been looking at him in the morning trying to get him to smile. He's trying to do it right now. He's getting a little better at it now, but it was really tough in the early years. But sometimes people just don't smile. Some people don't know that their normal face is kind of not smiling. Some people just have faces like that. I mean, they just don't, that's the way they are. It doesn't mean they're not happy, it's just the way they are. But other people interpret you as being standoffish or snobby or rude or mean. I mean, people can interpret that in a million ways, because remember, we all interpret because we think it's all about us. So, look at your face in the mirror sometimes, see what it looks like. Well, you probably do that every day. But anyway, look at your face in the mirror and see if you can smile a little bit. But go into a room and smile at people. When I travel, I smile like the airline people because they're always so cranky. You know, and I do like this until they smile. And I'll stand at the counter going, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's wonderful. And you know, after a while, they will smile. They do. So that's going to be your challenge, to get people to smile. Another way you can get yourself to smile is you can change your story. You can make a different choice. The new brain research says that we are not locked in the same patterns of behavior, which I just think is fabulous. We can change our neural networks, because our neural networks were formed and we act in certain ways and we respond in certain ways because that's what our neural networks told us from when we were kids. But actually, our brains are plastic. They're not solidified, if you will. And we can break those old networks and make new networks that make us happier, because here's the thing, okay, We usually have about 60,000 thoughts a day in our mind. Some research to this. I want to know who the guy was that counted, but anyway, that's what they said. And about 59,000 of them are negative. Okay? So let me just give you. I'll give you an example. Got up this morning, went to the bathroom to take a shower. Thought, ooh, my face looks weird. One negative thought. I was only up for 2 seconds. Okay. Took a shower, started drying my hair. Oh, I'm having a bad hair day. Okay, that's 2 negative thoughts in 10 minutes. Okay. Oh, I think I look fat in that dress. Okay, you know what I mean? It's like your negative thoughts go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So this researcher posited that we don't have to have 59,000 negative thoughts. We can just change our thought, and who says that's wrong? Because wouldn't you rather have happy thoughts than sad thoughts or angry thoughts? Now, when I first heard that, I said, I don't think so. Because I have a right to be angry. I have a right to be mad. I have a right to be cranky, and the world is awful, and everything's terrible, and I'm starving to death, and blah, 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 blah. But then I thought, you know what? Who cares? I mean, that's not going to change. But if I give myself happy thoughts, I'm going to feel better. So who cares if I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? So your reality is of your own creating. So here's a way you can change your story. Ready? Okay. Change your story. So I'm driving down the road, and this car cuts me off. It's a great big black limo, and I'm on my way to like gig somewhere, and I'm really aggravated because I got scared. I thought they could have hurt me, and we could have had an accident. So I'm getting really, really mad, and I'm saying nasty things about that driver in Italian because I only know the curses in Italian. And my blood pressure is going up, and I'm thinking this guy is a real jerk. Okay, and then I said to myself, oh, change your story, Anne-Louise, change your story. So I said to myself, okay, so here's my new story. The guy in the limo is George, the cute guy from ER. What's his name? George Clooney. I love George Clooney, and I love Bob too, but I love George. I love George from afar. Sorry, darling. He has a different look. It's just a thing, you know. you know what I mean. So anyway, so I think to myself, the guy is George Clooney, and he's racing in his car. They had to cut me off because he's going to the nursing home where his mother is, and she has Alzheimer's, like my dad did. And he just got a call, said, please come straight away. And in my new story, I follow the car to the nursing home, and I get out, and I see George, and I see him talking to his mother, and I go over and introduce myself, and I talk to George about how my dad had Alzheimer's, so I know about the whole thing about Alzheimer's. So we were talking about how that goes. And George and also I have performed at this nursing home, so they know me there. So George and I start talking, and just over in that brief encounter, George and I fall in love. Oh, such a great story. I'm feeling really better, okay? So George and I fall in love. But now here's the part, a little downside of this is that I am married to this wonderful guy. And we have 3 kids, and I don't want to leave him. But George and I become good friends. And he meets Bob too, and he likes Bob too. But because George and I are in love and we can't be with each other, and he's not married, remember, okay? He decides to support my career and my work because he thinks it's wonderful. So he invests money in me, and I get to produce more CDs, and I get to do videos, and I get to do more gigs, and I get a new wardrobe, and I have a makeup artist, and somebody produces me. All the things that performing artists and speakers want happen to me because of George. Meanwhile, we gaze at each other over the table every time we're together, knowing that we can't even touch, which just makes it that much more romantic. And then in the end, George and Bob and I are in the nursing home together. We're sitting on our rocking chairs, and I figure for me this is a win-win situation because whoever dies first, I get the other one. Okay, so I told myself that story. By the time I was done with that story, let me just tell you, I got to that gig, I was like dynamite. I felt so good. And who's to say that story can't be true? So change your story. Take the opportunity to change your stories. If you get up every morning and tell yourself negative things, change your story. Tell yourself something happy. I mean, who can it hurt? It can only make you feel better. So this goes against all my Italian training. Because you know, I've already told you, I was born in New Jersey, at St. Vincent's Hospital in New York, but I was raised in Hoboken my early years. And some of you may know who else was born in Hoboken.
Blue Eyes.
Frank's, Blue Eyes, right, Frank Sinatra. Now, here's something I want to tell you about Frankie, okay? My grandmother knew Frankie's mother. My first cousins, once removed, who are now 92, played with Frankie, okay? So you know that thing about 6 degrees of separation? We're only separated by somebody from 6 degrees. Okay, so afterwards, if you want to touch me, because here's the thing. You touch me, I touched my grandmother touched Frankie's mother touched Frankie. We're like 4 degrees from Frank Sinatra, okay? Right here in this very room. Doesn't that a great story? Makes you feel better already today, right? So anyway, we grew up, I was born, raised in Hoboken, then we moved to another part of New Jersey, to the suburbs. But that Italianness of my family was a huge part of my life, because my father's family is from Genoa, northern Italy, where people are kind of like you guys, nice, sweet, kind. My mother's family was from the Naples area. Totally different. Loud, obnoxious, dare I say rude, flamboyant. Okay, I was so attracted to my mother's side of the family. Because, you know what I mean? They were just like out there. And that side of the family, they had some interesting characteristics that you may not have in your family, or you may. For instance, let me think, what can I tell you first? Well, for instance, the ladies in my mother's family, my grandmother and all her aunts, they had unusual facial hair. And I didn't have any friends who had this kind of thing. So when you would go to their houses, you would sit at the kitchen table and you would stare at their faces. Because I had never seen any other ladies with mustaches, okay? But nobody ever mentioned the word mustache. It was like a don't ask, don't tell policy. You know what I mean? So as kids, we would sit there staring at their faces and we'd be thinking, is that gonna happen to me when I grow up? Now I know. And then they would have beauty marks sometimes on one side, sometimes on the other side. You never knew where that beauty mark was gonna show up. And they also, something else about them, they also always had on their lipstick. Because a lady never went anywhere without her lipstick. And it was always red. Now what I notice here is I see some pale faces here. And I'm thinking to pass this lipstick around. You could all like spruce up a little bit. You know what I mean? Brightens up your face, they used to say. And their lipstick, okay, they always put it on like 10 times a day without a mirror, okay, and they would go like this. There were 6 of them, my grandmother and her 5 sisters. They would go like this, and they would go, "Is it on my teeth, dolls?" And as you said, yes, they'd wipe it off like that. They'd be putting that on all day long. And also in their houses, they had always a pot of spaghetti gravy, always a pot of spaghetti gravy boiling on the stove. And they would feed you whenever you came, and you had to eat because they made it for you because they loved you. And if you didn't eat, it was no respect. And they'd be really upset with you, okay? So consequently, something else about me you should know, I'm a great little eater. So if I come to your house, I'll eat anything you put in front of me unless it's liver or lima beans. I don't like liver or lima beans. Anyway, so I got to be a really good little eater in their houses. And something else about their houses, their apartments actually, they didn't have houses because they didn't have enough money. Their apartments, true, I kid you not, they had the red velvet couches with the plastic over them in the living room, yes. And they had chandeliers, fancier than this, everywhere, dripping with crystals. And as a kid, we were not allowed to touch them, okay? But if you would look at them as a kid and cross your eyes, you could see rainbows and the crystals, and we used to sit for hours in the living room with our eyes crossed, looking at the crystals, seeing the rainbows, okay? That's the kind of fun things we did in those days. And then their bathroom, okay, their bathroom was the most interesting place, because in their bathrooms, on their shower bars, they would be hanging their drawers, okay? They had big pink ones, yellow ones, or white ones. They were gigantic, okay? They did not hang them outside because you don't want anyone to see your drawers, you know? Not, unlike that little boy Timmy who wanted everyone to see his Diego underwear. And as a kid, you'd go in there, you'd sit on the turlet, because that's what we called it then, the turlet. You'd sit on the turlet and you'd be looking at those drawers and you'd be thinking to yourself, how is it possible that anyone can fit in those drawers? But here's the thing, now I know how yours can fit in those drawers. It's not really very hard when you get to my age, okay? So you had the drawers, so they always had their drawers on, and over their drawers, and my husband used to say, how come they always sit across from me with their legs like this? In their dresses, and their drawers are hanging out. I said, I don't know, honey, they must like you. What else can I say? Now, here's another thing about them. They always wore their house dresses. Anybody have a dress like this hiding in their house that you might wear when no one's around? The house dress, okay? Or maybe your grandmother wore one of these, or maybe your aunts wore one of these. They wore their house dresses all week long because you only wore your nice dresses for Sundays or funerals or weddings. And those dresses were always black. Okay, this is what you wore, these kind of nice house dresses. And with your house dress, of course, you never had your stockings pulled all the way up because that'd be too much trouble. You used to wear them down, but you always wore your nice shoes in case anybody came to visit, because you could immediately take off your house dress, put on your black dress, pull up your stockings, you already had your shoes on. So this is what they look like all the time. I'll come over here and show you over here because you don't want to miss, do you? You don't want to miss it over here. So here's how they look. Okay? This is what they look like underneath. Isn't it amazing? They had husbands, okay? A lot of husbands, yeah. A lot of husbands. This is how they looked underneath. So, and then when you would go to their house and you'd go in the door, they would come over to you and they'd go, "Hi, dog, Karina, how cute you are. Look how much you've grown." And then they would give you a big smacker with those red lips right on your cheek. Oh, look, stand up and demo. Look, demo the smacker, the mustache came off. You got the mark of Lena, your mark, sweetheart. You will never be the same. That's the thing. Once you get the mark, you're never the same. And then, okay, so then they always had, of course, wait, I got to reapply because I have to reapply to make it a little bit better, okay? Because we don't want our lipstick to not be looking good, okay? There. On my teeth. Okay.
Great,
all right.
great.
I can give them all to some of these other people too, if you know what I mean. Just smile at me. I'll be there with my lipstick. Okay. Anyway, they always wore their hats, because a lady never went anywhere without a hat. Okay, right? Without a hat. And also glasses because the glasses. Do you remember the glasses? Glasses because they wanted to protect their eyes, and I loved their glasses because they were so elegant and they were so pretty. And who else had, I mean, my friends' grandmothers did not have diamonds on their glasses. I mean, I just thought they were absolutely gorgeous. And then, of course, they always wore gloves, because a lady doesn't go out without gloves. They went to church every single morning at 7 o'clock. Now, of course, we were Catholic. And no offense to anybody who's Catholic, but I didn't see how their going to church had anything to do with how they behaved. You know what I mean? They didn't understand the joy thing, I don't think. They were into the martyrs and the complaining. Now, they always wore gloves. Excuse me, my gloves are a little dirty. I was out clamming this morning in the bay there. I wanted to get a few clams for breakfast, and I didn't want to ruin my hands, so sorry about my dirty gloves. Anyway, always gloves. And then, also, even though they had their house dresses on, they would always wear their frocks. You know what I mean? Okay? So now other people probably here in Oregon, when you were little, you might have gone to church with your grandmothers or your aunts, and they made you like sweet little handkerchief figures or something to keep you busy, okay? In my family, we talked to the foxes. Hello, how you doing? That's what we did to keep ourselves busy in church, because all the relatives had them, and we used to like be behind them. There's a head behind there too, see? And we would like just very quietly take the heads and make them talk to each other. That's how we kept ourselves busy during church. Kind of reminds me of that song, I think it's a song from out here, Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road. I don't know if you guys know that song, but kind of reminds me of that song. Anyway, so here we are. Jewelry. They always wore tons of jewelry. A lady is not a lady without her jewelry. More jewelry than you can ever imagine. They'd be clanking away everywhere they walked. They had to have a lot of jewelry on. Okay, the earrings would have been a little nicer than this, but what can you do? So, I'm channeling. Hi, dolls. I'm Anne-Louise's great Aunt Lena, and I've come to share a few little things with you today. So nice to see you, although I do have to say you're looking a little pale. I do have the lipstick in case anybody needs some. Okay, anybody want to, should I just pass this around the table this way? I promise I don't got no germs. Okay, anyway, okay. So I wanted to teach you a few things because, you know, there's a few little things in life that can make you happy. In my family, something that made us happy was the way we said hello to each other. And I'm going to teach you that right now. Now, I don't know if any of you have special ways you say hello in your family, but here's how we said hello in my family. I'll demo it once and then I'll let you try it, okay? If I was walking down the hall and I saw my cousin, I would go, "Oh, oh, oh." Okay? Anybody do that in their families? No, I can see not. I can tell that I'm in Oregon, not back in New Jersey. Okay, everybody stand up. We're going to try this. It's going to make you feel good. Trying new things makes you feel good, so stand up. We're just going to try it. Don't worry. Nothing can happen to you. You're going to be safe. Nothing bad's going to happen. You're just going to go, ooh, ooh, ooh. And, you know, because learning new things is a skill. It helps your brain keep working. Guys can do this too. Look at that guy right there. Yeah. I had my eye on you for another husband. I had 3, but I'm looking for another one, you know. I had 3 I married for money, now I'm looking for love, okay? The old Italian saying is you marry first for money, then second time for love, but I had to do 3 times for money to get enough money, and now I'm looking for the love, okay? That guy might be the one. Okay, here we go. Ready? Put your arms out like this. I know it's kind of weird, but you're going to feel so much better. Your brain's like going like this now. Woo, 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 woo. New things, new things, new things. Okay, makes you happy, makes you happy. Here we go. Ready? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Nice, nice, nice. Do it again. One more time. Ready? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Not bad. Now I want you to turn around to the person next to you. Oh my God, this is such a risk. And go, ooh, 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 to the person next to you. I'm going to do it to you. Ooh, 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 nice. Ooh, nice, nice. That's beautiful. Ooh, ooh, it feels so good, doesn't it? Yes, I love it. All right, sit down. That's so good. You're not doing too badly. Now for the rest of the conference, I want you guys to be going, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's going to make you feel so much better, because, you know, taking risks also raises your endorphin levels and makes you feel good when you take a little risk about something like that, or smiling at the person you don't like. Oh my God, here's something I learned from my grandmother. I channel her at nighttime. She comes to my apartment where I have on my dresser the team. Now, I don't know if you have this in your houses, but I got the team. I got Jesus, of course, because I'm Catholic. I got the Virgin Mary, of course, because I'm Catholic. I got Joseph, because I'm Catholic. I got Saint Tony. He's saint of the things you can't find. A little prayer. Tony, Tony, come around. Something's lost and can't be found, okay? It works even if you're not Catholic. Tony, Tony, come around. Something's lost and can't be found. I'll tell you, you find it every single time. Just recite that prayer, okay?
Do you
then
jump
next,
up and down 3 times?
pardon? Go ahead.
Tony, Tony, do you jump up and down 3 times?
You know, I hadn't tried that, but I think you could.
You're supposed to.
You're supposed to jump. Would you like
You're
to demo?
supposed to up and down 3 times.
Oh, come
I
show
tell
us,
her
darling.
all the
She's
time, and she
Italian,
finds
too.
You're
it.
Italian, Paisan. Oh, Carina. I have to jump like this. Ooh, like this. Show me what I have to
You
do.
go like this. Tony, 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 help me find where is it?
I love it. Thank you, darling. What is your name?
Marley?
Molly. But Stack, that's not your Italian name, is it?
No, that's French.
That's a French name.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
Cucciero.
But thank you, Cucciero. Thank you, Molly. So now we got to jump and say a prayer to Tony. It's going to even work better.
Exactly.
Isn't
got
it? Isn't it so wonderful that you learned? See, I just learned something new. Fabulous. Then we also have Saint Jude, Saint of the Hopeless. I always have him up on my dresser too. Saint of the Hopeless. I don't know what he's supposed to do, but what's he supposed to do? Do you know, Molly? Saint of the Hopeless, Saint Jude.
St. Judas? No.
No, she doesn't know. I just keep him on my dresser for good luck. So at nighttime when I go to, and then I got the rosary beads hanging down this side. Then I got the Sacred Heart of Jesus. I don't know if you know this if you're not Catholic, but we got the Sacred Heart of Jesus. He's got his heart on the outside dripping blood. Not exactly sure why, but anyway. I got them all on the dresser. And sometimes at night when I'm getting ready to go to sleep, they start shining, and then I know I'm going to have a dream. That happened to you guys? You got the dreams? No, huh? I'm going to have to work with this bunch. Okay, I have to come back. Oh, Madonna mia. Okay, so I got the dreams coming. So I got this dream coming one night. My grandmother comes to me a lot. My dead husbands come to me a lot. You know what I mean? My brother comes to me. You never know who's going to come in the dream. My grandmother came to me one night and she says, Lena. I was pissed off when she said this to me. Lena, you got to be nice to people you don't like. I was like, give me a break, Grandma. Actually, I said something worse in Italian. I was like, what do you mean I got to be nice to people you don't like? She said, you got to be nice to that Sicilian lady down the block. Now, here's the thing. In Italy, we got the people in the north. They look down on the people who are south of them. Then those people, they look down on the people. And it goes on down all the way to Sicily. When you get to Sicily, everyone looks down on them. My grandmother used to tell me, no Sicilian, don't go out with no Sicilians. They got a knife in their boot. Now, I think that's really a racial thing and not a true story. But anyway, that's what they used to tell us. So, the Sicilian lady down the street, I never talked to her 30 years. My grandmother said, you got to be nice to her, Lena, even if you don't like her. I'm like, come on, Grandma. She goes, tomorrow when you go to the grocery store, you say hi to her. So I go to the grocery store, I'm thinking, oh, Madonna, what am I going to do? I get to the grocery store, there she comes towards me, and I smile at her. Hi, doll, I says. She looks at me. You're talking to me now after 30 years? You expect me to be nice to you? You got to be kidding. I go home that night, I get another dream. Grandma says I got to persevere. I don't know, I'm still persevering. So far, she's still spitting on me, but I'm going to see what happens. So if you have anybody like that in your life, okay, try it, and then email me, tell me if they spit on you or not. I want to see what happens, okay? Anyway, I digress. Okay, back to being Italian from New Jersey. All right, so I want to teach you to talk like me, another life skill that's going to make your life a lot happier. She's happy. Look, this girl says, she's saying, thank goodness she's going to teach us to talk like this, okay? Because remember, learning new things makes you happy too. Okay, so put your hand out like this. Say water. No, I take it back. Say waiter. Waiter. Now that's the person who brings you food at the restaurant, correct? Okay, waiter, okay. Now put this hand out like this, say water. Water. That's what you drink, right? Okay, how do you say water here in Oregon? Water. Now watch the difference. You say, and watch my mouth, you say water. See? Water, now watch. Water. Water. Nice, you gotta do water. Very nice, much better. Okay, I met a speech therapist recently who told me the reason why we say our A's the way we do is because we thrust our jaw forward and we distort the vowel. And I said to her, excuse me, I hear no distortion of my vowels. So, a little tip for you, just thrust your jaw forward. Water. Water. Now, I want you to do this with your hands too, because when you do hand things and new words, all this together, your brain is just going wild. All the synapses are firing. You're like, oh my God, what is she doing? And you're gonna feel better. Okay, so now you got waiter, you got water. Now take your waiter hand, turn it over, daughter. Like as if you was my little girl, you'd be my daughter, okay? Now guys can do this too, okay? And because sometimes guys have a problem doing things like this, but I think guys can do this too. Especially the one who's gonna be my new husband, okay? I gotta just go look at his name, see, so I can, oh, sorry, Bob, it's not Anne-Louise's husband, Greg.
Yes. Greg with an egg on the end.
Greg, okay,
It's easy to remember.
okay, I can have this guy, okay. I'm gonna give you the mark in a little while, okay? I'm always scouting. Wherever I go, I'm always scouting, you know what I mean? So here we go, back to the song. Just follow along with me. I want a waiter. I want a waiter. I want a waiter with some water for my daughter. This is good. I want a waiter with some water for my daughter, so my daughter don't die of thirst. Oh, I forgot to teach you that. Thirst. Nice, thirst. Okay, now you're getting it, right? Aren't you feeling good? You're laughing, you're smiling, you're learning something new. You're going to be I want you to go back to your libraries. This is amazing because you each go to these different places. Go back to your libraries and teach everybody in your library. Oh my God! The whole of Oregon's going to be talking like this by the end of the next week. Okay, here we go. Well, because you see kids every day and grown-ups, right? Okay, talk like this when you see them. 1, 2, 3. I want a waiter. I want a waiter. You do it. I want a waiter with some water for my daughter. That's so good. I want a waiter with some water for my daughter, so my daughter don't die of thirst. Now you gotta say don't. I heard some sweet library people saying doesn't, which is of course correct English. But that's not how we talk back there, okay? So you need to say don't, even though it's not okay. It's gonna be okay to say that. The kids will know, okay? Now, something else you need to know. Yous are so nice here. Back there, we got that little edge. We got that little attitude. So I want to see a little attitude, girls and boys, okay? Here we go, ready? Ladies and gentlemen, men and women, a little attitude. Now, it's good for your hips to do this, okay? Burning calories, okay? Stretching your muscles, which kind of gets stiff when you get older. Some of you are too young to know, but let me just tell you, 92, you need to stretch your hips. Here we go, okay? Now, and the head, you can do the head. It's good for your neck, okay? Here we go. Just try it. Honestly, nothing's going to happen, I swear to God. No one's taking movies of you, I swear. Okay, here it is. Not going to be used for blackmail. 1, 2, 3. I want a waiter. I want a waiter. Much better. I want a waiter with some water for my daughter. Nice. I want a waiter with some water for my daughter, so my daughter don't die of thirst. 2, 3. I want a waiter. A little more attitude. I want a waiter. You're doing it. I want a waiter with some water for my daughter. I want a waiter with some water for my daughter, so my daughter don't die of thirst. Very nice. Give yourselves a clap. You're doing very well, very well. Now, I did hear someone over here saying doesn't still. It's probably that head library lady over there. You know how they are in the big office up there, but it's okay. You gotta say don't, honey. You gotta say don't. Let me just reapply. I'll just reapply before I tell you my next little story. Okay, we got time to do a little song. You know, remember I told you singing raises your endorphin levels? Okay, how we doing? That's good. I just am gonna walk back to this guy.
You have some in your teeth.
Ah! Some of my teeth. And now I'm wiping my hands with wiping my teeth with the gloves that had clams on them this morning. Oh my God. I'm just gonna walk back to this guy over here who doesn't know me. I want you to know he's not a plant. Okay? He doesn't know me, but I feel compelled to give him the mark. Okay? I feel compelled to give him the mark. And here's the thing about this mark. You can't get it off for like 24 hours. Nice.
You sound like a rosemary.
Like rosemary. Yeah, ciao, okay, I got that guy and walked out. All right. So singing. Singing raises your endorphin levels, so I think we should sing another song, okay? Now, I gotta take my stove off to sing, excuse me. And I want to do a song that you might know, because you can sing with me. And here's the thing, I need a backup group. This is like taking a serious risk. So just think about it for a minute. Here's what I learned about taking risks from my grandmother. Someone says do something that you're scared to do, just do it and be scared later. Honestly, makes you feel a lot better. So you might even know this song. It's called Under the Boardwalk. It was actually made when I was about 70, but you know, I'm a young thing, I can sort of do anything, so we can do this now. And I need guys to sing Under the Boardwalk, but okay, we got 6 guys here, we should be able to do that, okay? And some of you ladies might want to come up and be the, you know, remember the backup group, okay, the backup group, okay. And if you do come up, you can just sort of come up like when you feel like it, and this is what everyone else is going to do. Everyone else is going to smile and nod at them and affirm them. Okay? Just like we do for kids, because taking risks for grown-ups is just as scary as it is for kids. I know I went to college when I was 70. Sex education was the first class I took. I could have taught it, let me just tell you. But taking risks for grown-ups is just as hard as it is for kids, and we forget that sometimes. So it's great to take a risk as a grown-up so you can just remember what it's like, because we as kids do a lot of stuff, you know, and we think they should just get up and do it. And sometimes we get annoyed with them when they don't, but they're just as scared as we are. So we affirm them. So if you get up here and do it, everyone's going to smile and nod at you. You're going to feel so good, okay? I'm seeing everybody leap up at once. Here we go. I don't want to call on individual people, but that would be good too. Oh, when the sun's so hot, it melts the tar up on the roof. Sing with me soon. And my shoes are so hot, I wish my tired feet were fireproof. Now sing Under the Boardwalk, here we go. Under the boardwalk, swing those hips. Down by the sea, yeah. One getting up. On a blanket with my baby. You give her a cheer. That's where I'll be. Yeah. This girl taking a risk, go for it. Under the boardwalk. Sing, guys.
Under the boardwalk,
we'll be having some fun under the
boardwalk.
Yeah, more! There'll be people of smile under the boardwalk. We'll be falling in love under the boardwalk. Boardwalk, smile at these guys. From the park you can hear the happy sound of the carousel. More of you can do this, you know. You can do it. You can almost taste the hot dogs and French fries they sell. Smile and nod at them. Under the boardwalk, go girls. Down by the sea, yeah. On a blanket with my baby. Whoa, I love it. Okay, I need a man up here. Under the boardwalk. Out of the sun, under the boardwalk. Yeah! We'll be having some fun under the boardwalk. Woo! People walking in love under the boardwalk. Go for it. We'll be falling in love under the boardwalk. Boardwalk. Now we get some more people. La 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 la. Come on, some more people. Take a risk. See how it feels. La la la. Woohoo! There. La 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 la. There you go. Oh my God, the whole crowd's up. Under the boardwalk. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. My cat's gonna come off. Oh gosh, here's the thing. Oh my gosh. Oh dolls, that was wonderful. Don't you feel so good? Huh. And dancing makes you feel good too. Not just singing, dancing too. Now, I got one more story to tell you. I'm not gonna put on my stole because it's a little hot up here. I'll put on my boa. Every woman needs a boa, you know what I mean? That's another whole show, but anyway. The library didn't hire me for that. Maybe next time, the evening one. Okay. I want to tell you just one more little story before we end. Back in Italy, you know, we used to get together in the stables. That's where they told stories at night. In little villages, people would all gather together at night because what else they were going to do. And they told stories. The old women usually were the ones that told the stories. And the kids, they would all play together. And the adolescents, they would make eyes at each other. And the men, they would drink their wine. And the mamas, they would do their knitting or their sewing and their mending. When we came to New Jersey, we didn't have no stable. So we sat around the kitchen table. That's where we told stories and found those pieces of wisdom and joy, just like we're around tables today. Story. There was a monastery in Italy once, many, many years ago, probably like 16th century. And it had once been a place of spiritual enlightenment, and now there was only 7 old monks left and the abbot. And they were kind of cranky and crotchety, and no one came to the monastery anymore. And they were afraid their order and the monastery would die out with them. And one day they saw the rabbi walking by. Now the rabbi, he came a couple of times a year past the monastery to a hut in the woods there on their property where he would stay and do whatever rabbis do, meditate, pray, who knows. And the abbot and those monks, they had never once in all those years said hello to that rabbi. Nor had the rabbi said hello to them, because after all, he was Jewish and they were Catholic. But when they saw him walking by, the monks said to the abbot, "Please, go talk to him, brother, go talk to him. Maybe he can tell us what we need to do so our monastery doesn't die out." And the abbot decided to do so. And he walked out and he went to the rabbi's hut and knocked on the door. And after all these years of not speaking, the rabbi held out his arms and welcomed the abbot. And they sat down and they prayed from both their traditions and they talked. And the abbot told him of his problem, and the rabbi said, I have no words for you. I don't know what to say. So after spending some time together, the abbot got up to leave, and as he was walking down the path, the rabbi said, one thing, the Messiah is among you. The abbot thought, what's he talking about? Crazy rabbi. Goes back to his 7 monks, and he tells them, he had no words for us. But he did say one thing. He said, the Messiah is among us. And they started thinking about that. Yeah, the Messiah is among us. It couldn't be Brother Bob. He's so cranky in the mornings. well, maybe it could be him. I better start being nice to him, because he is nice later in the day. Couldn't be Brother Ethelrod. He's just a nobody. But then, he always does seem to be there when you need him. Well, it must be the abbot because he's our leader, so we better be nice to him. It couldn't be me. Oh, Lord, don't let it be me. I'm not up to the task. But those monks, they started treating each other and themselves with the utmost respect and love and kindness, just in case it was one of them. And as they started doing that, it became a habit. And an atmosphere grew up around this old monastery of this love and this generosity and this respect that just spread. And when people came to the grounds to picnic, because they still did, they would just feel this because, you know, it spreads. And then more people came because they told their friends. And in time, the monastery became a thriving spiritual center again. A young man even decided to become a new monk. And people came there all the time. And that's the end of that story. But remember, the Messiah is among us. Thank you. To end, have brought my accordion, which I'm sure you have all been waiting for this entire time. Now, Anne-Louise doesn't like me to get this out so much, but then I don't much listen to her, you know what I mean? So while I'm putting this accordion on, this comes from Alaska, by the way, and I was up there with Anne-Louise. She was working, she brought me, because she always does. And there was a teacher there, and Anne-Louise asked her about the accordion, and the teacher said, I have one. And Anne-Louise said, oh, it's a small one, I'd like to buy it. And the teacher said, no, it's not for sale. Next day, before Anne-Louise leaves, the teacher comes back and says, I'd like to give you this accordion as a present from the people of Alaska. Take it and sing to people in the lower 50, 48, whatever it is down here, you know what I mean? When I was young, it was 48. So this is a present from Alaska. Can you stand it? From this lady. Okay, now I'm just going to find my notes here. That's not the right note. That's better. Okay. So before I play this song, in the speaker world, they say you're supposed to say what you said, and say it again, and say it again, and say it again. Now, I would do that if I could remember what I said. But I'm hoping you can remember what I said, okay? Joy, it's about the joy. You'll be judged for the joy you refuse to accept, so go out there and find so much joy. Change your story. Oh, and here's another thing I forgot to tell you. No complaining for a week. Think you can do it. I read that somewhere online, okay? They said take this, sign this thing that says you're not going to complain for a week. Anne-Louise did it for a morning. She's still trying. So no complaining for a week. That means no complaining about the guy who cut you off. That means no complaining about your rude co-worker. That means no complaining because your husband doesn't smile in the morning. That's from Anne-Louise, Bob. That means no complaining about anything. Try it, see what happens, and then would you email me and tell me what happened, okay? I'd love to know.
When the moon hits your eye like a big piece of pie, that's amore.
You can la-la with me.
When the stars seem to shine like you've had too much wine, that's amore.
Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and they'll say Vita Bella. Hearts will play tippy-tippy-tay, like the gay tarantella.
Lucky fella. When the stars make you drool just like pasta bazoo, that's amore.
When you walk down the street with your feet on a cloud, you're in love, oh yeah. Here's the big finish.
When you walk in a dream and you know you're not dreaming, Signore. Scusa me, but you see, back in old Napoli, that's amore.
One more time for Mama. Now you can la-la if you don't know the words, okay?
When the moon hits your eye like a big piece of pie, that's amore.
When the world seems to shine.
When the world seems to shine like you had too much wine, that's amore.
Bells will ring. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and you'll say Vita Bella. Hearts will play tippy-tippy-tay, like a gay tarantella.
Lucky fella. When the stars make you drool just like pasta bazoo, that's amore. When you walk down the street with your feet on a cloud, you're in love.
Here's the big finish.
When you walk in a dream and you know you're not dreaming, Signore, scusa me, but you see, back in old Napoli, that's amore.
Che bella. Che bella. Che bella. Thank you. How's my lips go? Do I need to be applying? I need more. Anne-Louise, my great niece, who thinks she's a star. We both say thank yous to you. It was lovely being with you. Now, she or I will be here at lunchtime telling stories or something like that. And I am happy delighted to stand with my lipstick by that door and apply to you as you go out the door. So, thank you. Oh, don't you think she needs them off? Oh, the little tail, I gotta get them off. Come on. You can have the boa, dog. You can put the boa.
It'll go nicely with my leg. And coming from a Portuguese family background, this is, yeah. I still have visions of my grandmother, who I was raised across the street from her, and she'd come over early in the morning and have coffee with my mom, and she'd have her house dress on, and her knee-high nylons up to her, just below her ankles, kind of baggy, and her work shoes. And she'd walk home with her old sweater over her shoulders and her slip showing about this much in the back. And we just, that was Ava. So, you love them because they're who you're going to be. I promise. Okay, I have 4 ladies in the audience who need to come up and talk to me. Now, or actually just stand by me. They know who they are. You're probably all wondering why you have that little square on the front of your registration packet. So everyone gets to pull it out. We have a little, it's a fun